My name is Ronnie Cruz, and this is Path of the Network Marketer.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about dumbing down your content. Dun dun dun. It's not really a dun 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 episode. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, I've seen this a lot recently. So let me backtrack. Not really a lot, but I've seen it enough times for it to give me pause and for me to address it, right? The idea, the notion that you should broaden your content and the language that you use and the ideas that you share with your content so that it opens it up to a wider audience, right? And I get it, especially in the context of short form media, reels, social media, that on the surface makes sense. But what I want you to understand is that it may not necessarily be the smartest strategy, right? Because here's the thing, okay, even for short form, but like for long form, for podcast, if you're not specific, if you're not technical, or if you're not if you're speaking too broadly, then your show and your content is not going to have really any appeal, because you're trying to fish for every audience. All the audience is going to go through the net, right? Like, let's say you're casting a really wide net, but the spaces in the net are this big. All the fish are going to go through, right? Like, that's a really bad analogy, but I think hopefully I'm communicating this correctly. The net's so broad and the gap in the net is so wide that you end up not catching any fish, and you end up not catching any audience because nobody's going to be interested in very broad general topic. And for short form, I understand why this is an idea and why this notion is getting perpetrated, because short form is about getting views and getting as many followers as you can and going viral. However, if your goal is to be more than just a content creator, and for more views and more followers, and then to hopes to get sponsorship. If your goal is to create a brand, if your goal is to promote your business, if your goal is to create a presence and an influence, then you really have to stay true to your message and your story and to be really more authentically you, right? If you're not, then again, your message is going to be so generalized. Sure, you might be able to get more followers and attract more views to your short form reels and your shorts on YouTube. However, that audience is going to be so generalized that you're not going to have any influence over them whatsoever, or your influence quotient decreases with the more general your content is. Right? Oh, that's good. I just thought of that. Right? So think of it as a scale. Again, it's there's no wrong or right. It just depends on the outcome that you want. For me, as a business owner, as somebody who is building a brand, as a network marketer, I prefer to build influence as opposed to building audience. And so my content, I'm going to stay true to my message. I'm going to stay true to my story, and I'm not going to dumb that down in hopes of getting more followers. I'm really not. I don't want to compromise that to get more followers, because again, if my message is broad, then my influence quotient decreases, right? Whereas if you stay true, if you stay consistent with your messaging and more authentic with your messaging, your influence goes up, right? So just consider that when you're creating content, because I don't know where you are and what you want, the outcomes that you want with your content, but there is definitely, for me, in my opinion, a pitfall, because I think my audience is mostly people that are moving into a leadership position. In network marketing, it's all about leadership, right? And creating influence. But whether you're in network marketing or not, if you're an aspiring coach, or if you're building a brand, if you're promoting your business, you really want to build your influence. I think influence is way more important than size of audience, because if your influence is down, it doesn't matter how high your audience is, your conversion rates are still going to be low. With a higher influence, you have a higher conversion rate, and you can have much more success even if your audience count is lower. than not, right? Lower than other people. So it's just something to consider. And for me, I would never want to compromise my content just to get more followers. That's really what it boils down to. So consider that when you're creating your content, long form especially. Like the last thing I want you to do is dumb down your long form content in the hopes that you're going to get more views, because then you sacrifice your influence, right? Okay, so that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. More from me tomorrow. So until then, be well, be safe. I'll see you in the next episode.